Well, anytime you're talking about South Korea and power,
Yeah.
political power,
Mm-hmm.
you're mostly talking about South Korea vis-a-vis North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a rivalry between the two in other
Yeah.
nations. Hello, everyone. This is Mark Peterson. Today, I am at the Korea Society, and we are going to cut several short videos introducing important topics that we hope classroom teachers can use in their classroom instruction. Hello, this is Mark Peterson again, and today I'm at the Korea Society, and we are going to be talking today with Amanda.
Yes. Hello.
Welcome. It's good to see you.
Yes.
Amanda's been helping me during my visit here.
Mm-hmm.
And Amanda, what's your duty here? What's your job?
Yeah, so I'm the education program officer, and my primary duty is running our Korean language program.
The Korean language program. You have students?
Yes, a lot of them, actually.
You know, that's the thing that's really interesting about Korean language. You know, years ago, not that many years ago, even as much as maybe 20 years ago, we couldn't get that many students.
Yeah.
But, you know, in language enrollments in Korean continue to grow, where all the other languages are topping off and declining.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about language and cultural issues. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, so kind of tying into that, I kind of wanted to pick your brain about this idea of soft power. There's a lot of talk with South Korea and their amazing soft powers. So I kind of want to hear just like first a general like definition. What is soft power, and then what is that implying or in with South Korea? Yeah.
Well, anytime you're talking about South Korea and power, political power, you're mostly talking about South Korea vis-a-vis North Korea. And there's a rivalry between the two in other nations. Which country can appeal to another nation for righteousness? Which one is correct and which one is not? And soft power implies not military power, but cultural power. And South Korea is winning that war in spades. I mean, look at all the tremendous soft power popularity of Korea. What do I need to say? BTS.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
BTS has been on all the programs in America. Taylor Swift has reclaimed the most sales in one day.
Yeah.
But before that, BTS had the record. And they beat a Taylor Swift earlier record.
I'm sure the Swifties weren't happy about that.
No, but the Swifties have come back now. They're back on the top.
Yeah.
But BTS is right up there in popularity. And then there's the great movies and dramas. The fact that Parasite won the greatest award available to a movie, the Best Picture of the Year and the Academy Award. The first time that a foreign language movie had been nominated in the Best Picture category, and they won it all, which was just incredible.
Yeah.
And an interesting movie with all sorts of social dynamics. That's soft power in an interesting way because it was dealing with problems in society in a very gritty, interesting sort of way. And then there's Squid Game.
Oh, yeah.
I hated Squid Game.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. I think a lot of people didn't like it, actually.
It was so... Well, but that's the whole point, is to show the injustice and the greed in society and to do it in a disgusting way so that you deal with your own emotions about that. And so Korea is really at the cutting edge of gritty, difficult sorts of movies. And this is the heart of much of their soft power.
Yeah.
So you're here with the education program, the Korean language program. Your enrollments have gone through the roof.
Yes. We have doubled our numbers of just our enrollment in 1 year.
Oh, that's incredible. And are they learning the language?
Yes. So we have 9 different levels of classes with topic-based classes as well. And all of our students are professional adults who are learning just out of their own motivation. So no class, no credits, no major forcing you to take
Learning
it.
to learn.
Learning just purely out of wanting to learn.
We hope to see Korean education, Korean language education in more high schools. it's limited so far,
Yeah.
but gradually more high schools are picking up Korean as a curriculum. And speaking of soft power, there's nothing more powerful than learning a language.
Yeah.
And Korean's a hard language, though.
It is. Very.
Very.
Very, very.
You have people that start out and just can't learn it and have to give up. That's a typical story. But we have people today that are really marvelous.
Yeah.
That are learning Korean really well. Yeah. Well, good for you and the Korea Society for teaching Korean language.
Yeah, we're very happy with the program, and I'm happy that it's kind of also touching on this topic of it is kind of creating more soft power for Korea, but through, something so valuable as language education.
Yeah. These days people can get language translators on their phone, and language learning is dropping off. So it's really a credit to Korea that language learning in Korean is climbing.
Yeah.
People want to learn the language. They want to either understand the movie or the songs a little bit better.
Yeah, that's what I get from most of our students. They're like, oh, I want to learn and understand the movies that they probably see, like Parasite and Squid Games, without the subtitles. That's kind of the common theme that I hear from students and motivation.
Yeah. Pachinko is another one that I really like. That's a great movie. I'm looking forward to the completion of the series. They sort of dropped it off in the middle of the book.
Oh, did they? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, there's a second edition that has to come up. The poor woman who's stuck in the middle of that story is out selling kimchi in the streets of Japan in the last edition. So that's another great movie. Well, soft power and education, and keep up the good work here. Teach that Korean.
Yeah, we definitely will.